Just a second. Let me set you as a co-host. Did you receive something? Notification? Did you receive it, Wally?
I received what?
The notification for a co-host.
I think yes. Right.
Yes. Can you try to do something? Maybe share your screen or...
Okay, let me try. Yes, I can share the screen from here.
Yeah.
Okay.
We're live on YouTube, Walid. So we welcome everybody who is watching
Hello,
us.
everyone. So I think we don't have enough participants, or we have around 6 people. Hello, everyone. We are glad to see you today. This is Walid Shawi from Muscat, Oman. And we have our speaker today, Yusra Franchisi. She is from Tunisia at the moment.
So we started
Okay, I think
people now, Walid. Yeah.
yes, we're having more people now. So in today's session with TESOL professionals, we are going to connect IKIGAI, which means in Japanese life purpose, and Kaizen, which is also another Japanese word which means continuous improvement. We're going to merge this with personal branding and transformative coaching with their teaching practice. Participants in today's session will explore techniques on how to strengthen their professional identity while learning practical coaching strategies that promote reflection and autonomy in career path advancement. You are going to receive a certificate towards the end of the session. We are going to share the feedback form that you need to fill out and receive your certificates immediately after that. Our speaker today is Miss Yusra. This beautiful lady that you can see on the screen right now. Hi, Yusra. We welcome you
Hi,
in the
please,
session today.
thank you. Please drop Miss Yusra. It's like Yusra. You're a doctor in it. It's
Yusra.
like Walid. Thank you, Walid. Thanks for
Okay.
being here.
So, who is Yusra? Who's our presenter today? Yusra is a TESOL professional specializing in cross-cultural studies in English. She's a CELTA qualified Delta candidate, TESOL trainer, certified ICF, and a yoga and mindfulness coach. She is accredited as an auditor for quality in education programs and training institution by ALESCO, and has been active, yes, and has been active in ELT since 2009. Currently, she teaches EFL, or English as a Foreign Language classes, and is the Students Development Officer at a private university in Tunisia. Yusra served as a TEFL Kuwait Media and PR Manager from 2022 to 2023 and is a member of the steering committee of TESOL COL-IS, or Computer Assisted Language Learning, at the TESOL International Association until recently. She founded the Ikigai and Kaizen podcasts. I was one of her guests one day, in which she incorporates ICF coaching stance besides implementing these principles into her teaching and teacher training. Yusra facilitates the coaching experience of many clients in academia and corporate organizations. She was a jury member and academic advisor at various educational and entrepreneurship competitions and events such as the Oxford University Press and Enactus, ENACTUS, respectively. Yusra is currently the AIDT SIG founder and chair at TESOL conferences. Previously, it was called TESOL Arabia, and the vice president membership at Dubai Legends Toastmasters Club. I think this is all about our guest.
Thank you.
Our guest speaker. Let's welcome Yusra today and enjoy the session. I'll give you the floor, Yusra. You can start.
Thank you very much, Walid. Thank you very much, everybody, to whoever is here attending with us today. Welcome from around the world. I can see some familiar faces. I welcome Miss Sonia Damak, who's the ICF president of the ICF Tunisia chapter, who's attending here with us. So, hi to everybody. We can see also our colleague Mohammed, our
Muhammad Sharawi, yeah.
yes. So, our colleague Fakhruddin as well is here. Welcome, everybody.
Perfect.
So without further ado, I'll start by sharing my screen. And today we're going to talk about a topic that seems to be familiar to many of us. And I'm going to take it from, let's say, the usual way people perceive personal branding. I rebranded personal branding kind of with the two words that my colleague mentioned at the beginning, which are Ikigai and Kaizen. And we're going to dive deep today into what is Ikigai and what is Kaizen. And all of this is really blended with coaching. So we'll start. So I want to introduce myself because my colleague really did it very well. So I'll start with the outline. I'll start by giving you, let's say, the roadmap towards our today's journey together. So we'll start by identifying what is identity, what is the defining characteristics of every one of us, together with what's personal branding as well. We'll explore, just like in coaching, what's a future self. And we'll see the difference between the authentic self and how you can prevail this in an online presence that can be useful to you and to your career path. Next, we're going to explore together the AI competencies and coaching. So, a lot of people there kind of discussing, does coaching aligns with AI competencies and how can we include AI and still use it ethically in coaching? So we'll see case scenarios and techniques that you can employ, whether in your context, if you're a teacher, if you're attending with us as a teacher today, or if you're a leader elsewhere in your context, regardless of the specialty you're active in. These techniques, you can use them as well as a coach if you're a coach and attending with us today. Then we're going to discover your digital footprint, every one of you today. And last but not least, please do not leave this webinar without having created at least the beta version of your website until you get it better, maybe after the webinar, and share it with us. Finally, last but not least, with the takeaways. So now, please, if you have your mobile phone at hand, please feel free to scan the QR code you see on the screen. Or if you're using your computer, join menti.com and type the code you see on the screen, which is 43 88 82 43. And the question here that we would like to explore together is in one word, if it's only one word, how do you express your identity? If we say that that is what makes you unique, what do you consider can be unique in your eyes? Yeah, here's it. And now we'll follow together on Mentimeter. So I'll put it full screen so that you can still see the code and scan the QR code as well. So please join menti.com. I hope you can see it now. It's full screen. I apologize for my internet connection, which seems to be very slow today. So can you still see it? Here is it. In one word, how do you express your identity? Mm-hmm. All right. Thank you for sharing. So I'll give you a few seconds, let's say, to type maybe in the chat if you do not have hold of your phone next to you. And we'll see some words there in the chat. Hello from India. Hello for whoever is joining us from Indonesia, from India, from Canada. Thank you, everyone, for attending. All right, so please keep in mind this word. It can be not only one word, but we try to encapsulate this, let's say, only in one word. Please keep it in mind all through today's webinar. And we're going to see if this identity is really visible for you and for your audience, let's say, online. Let me get back to the presentation and let's continue. So since I said today it's going to be a journey, so do you have your passport today with you? Because I'm granting you a free business class boarding pass to your dream destination, or let's say to your best version of yourself. Are you ready to travel to this best version of yourself? Get your passport, get your boarding pass, and let's get to it. So we'll start, first of all, by a brief visualization exercise. So regardless of the day you had today, whether good or bad, so I'm going to take you with me today, as I said, on this plane to the best version of yourself. Are you ready for this? Please type 1 in the chat if you're ready for this trip. You got a business class boarding pass, so we can see Ahmed is ready for the trip. Otherwise, thank you. Ready, everybody? All right, great. All right, so please, you're free to have a look at the screen, or you can close your eyes, depending on if you feel well at ease in this. And then I'm going to invite you to gently take a deep breath in. You can close your eyes. You can keep them open as you like. And I'm going to take you right now to the very first moment you woke up today. So I'm going to let you take this walk through in your mind. When did you wake up today? Can you remember the exact time? What was the first feeling you had this morning once you woke up? Was it feeling well? Was it a feeling of stiffness? How excited were you about today when you woke up this morning? And then after you woke up, what was the first thought? The first, not to say objective, but the first thing on your to-do list that you said, today I'm going to execute this. Today I'm going to go to the gym. Today I'm going, I don't know if you're working. So what did you have on your mind right first time when you woke up today? What was the first thought? And then the first thing you did is you stepped onto the mirror, you had a look at yourself, and what did you tell yourself this morning once you looked at yourself in the mirror? What kind of thoughts did you share with yourself? After this, you got ready for the day. Whether you stayed at home, you worked from home, or you just relaxed. So try to remember all those moments you had during the day today, and try to remember the people that were around you today. Who did you talk to? Who did you interact with? Did these people add some value to your life? Did they make you even more happy or happier, let's say? And how did you contribute to this? How did you make sure that you are a blessing, let's say, to these people as well? Now, just like this trip, you got a suitcase ready and you received an offer, which is this trip today. Imagine yourself heading towards the airport, having your passport in one hand, the suitcase in another hand, and you're stepping towards now the boarding gate. You ready? You're on the plane now. The flight attendants, they're ready for there to welcome you. You have a seat on the plane. You have a look, maybe choose your favorite seat. Where would it be? Maybe next to the aisle, next to the window. Where do you prefer to sit down on the airplane? And then on the strip, let's imagine that just like a time machine, you're going to get teleported towards the best version of yourself. How do you imagine yourself once you land, after this trip? What would be X or Y here in 5 years from now, 10 years from now? How would it be? How would you be? Who will you be? Who will you be working with? Who will you be living with? Are they the same people you kind of crossed your path today or different? If it's work, if it's your own company, how do you imagine your company to look like? How is it? How is it? If you're working with other people, how do you imagine the dynamics? Take that walk through. Now you arrived at a safe space in this trip, whether the company, whether in your home, whatever is it, it's the place, your favorite space that makes you really feel comfortable. It can be on the beach, wherever is it. And you take another seat, and then you have a look next to you, and the person who's sitting next to you is the current version of you. What would you say? What would the future self say to the current self? Maybe as something wonderful you've seen about yourself in the future. Maybe as a hand you will be handing over to your current self. What would you do? Now, after conveying this idea to your current self, I invite you to open your eyes gently. And please feel free to share in the chat what kind of ideas did you have about this future self? Yes, we can see in the chat here, Mr. Mohammed is driving. Good, Mr. Mohammed. So please make sure you're heading towards your future self. Yes. So Sherry mentioned that she's advising her future self to pick one thing and do it well. Thank you for sharing, Sherry. What kind of advice would you be given to this future self? Keep it in mind. No worries. It doesn't have to be really visible now. Sorry. Okay. So we went through, yes, as seen in the chat, what we went through is a short mini visualization and meditation exercise. You can do it yourself, or you can, facilitate this to someone else if you're a coach about some of the questions. So if you've seen this, it's like most of all, it's like suggestive to the place, suggestive to the people you're gonna meet, suggestive to the things you're going to do. So this can be one method to explore your future self. And then now I'll ask you some questions, as you can see on the screen. Was there a goal that you wanted to achieve and you thought about this goal now today while meditating? Was there a goal, whatever is it, that you thought of today? And please, we welcome all ideas. Feel free to type it in the chat. All right. Now, the second question is there a time span you envision achieving this goal? So, first of all, what's the goal? Second, when do you think this goal is achievable? Please type it in the chat if you have a time span in mind. Next, are there any challenges along the way? So while thinking about this goal, let's say to be, I don't know, to have your own business, to start your own business. So thinking about this maybe in 10 years from now, what do you think are the challenges that came along with this? Why you thought about this? Or maybe just thinking about this, you think it's unachievable for you. Please feel free to type it in the chat. And next, are they like if those barriers disappear, if it's only in your mind, how can you achieve this goal? How do you imagine yourself being if all of those barriers disappear? Okay, so as I mentioned before, so the whole workshop today will follow a suggestive method. There is no transfer of skills. I'm not going to say this is right, this is wrong. All of this will be reflective, reflection questions, and goal setting for yourself. Please feel free to take notes at any particular time. If you want to take maybe screenshots, you can take them. Okay? Now, to those challenges you talked about and maybe you kind of thought about today. As a teacher today, and we can see it from, the posture of of the person who's walking. So I'm asking you this question now. As teachers present here with us today, or maybe as coaches present here with us today, what are some of the challenges that you face? Anything you consider as a challenge? So in some cases it's burnout, in other cases it's like workload, other times it's work-life balance. So we can see some ideas here, overthinking, perfectionism. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. Now, we're not going to ask you about solutions right now, but keep this in mind so that today we're going to juggle between the different suggestions so that, let's say, so that you can achieve maybe a solution to one of those goals or challenges that you're facing. So we're going to start by an exercise, an activity we do like it so much, since we talked about, for instance, work-life balance. So, have you heard about the Wheel of Life before? Do you know it? Do you have an idea about it? If yes, please type it in the chat. If no, today we're going to know it more together. So, the Wheel of Life, and as the name suggests, so the Wheel of Life includes many aspects, as you can see. It includes health, career, love, spirituality, family, money, fun, and friends. Do you have an idea how much time or maybe importance or maybe effort you're putting in each one of those? Any idea? Yes. So I'm going to share with you a link in the chat, or you can scan the QR code if you're using your phone. Just a second, please, so that I drop the link for colleagues who are following here through their laptops. So this is the link. So this is a digital wheel of life. It will give you results according to the scaling, we call it in coaching. The scaling you're going to attribute to each one of these sections. So please feel free to use this. Thank you, Mr. Ahmed. And we look forward to receiving your results for this wheel of life. So I'll let you complete this in 1 or 2 minutes, and please let me know in the chat when it's done. So it's like on a scale from 1 to 10, you attribute the number that you esteem represents the amount of effort, time, importance that you're giving people, maybe life, maybe friends. It depends on these aspects in the wheel of life. And please do not hesitate to share maybe a screenshot of this in the chat, maybe the number of it, maybe ideas in the chat. So I can see some colleagues here. Swift is sharing about short-term objectives, improving physical fitness. So here maybe it's linked to leisure and health. We wanted to build consistent exercise routine to improve fitness. That's good. Thank you for sharing. Thank you. So, did you manage to have access to the Wheel of Life? Did you get any results you want to share with us? For me, this was my Wheel of Life, the one that I shared with you, as honest and as it can be. So I'm devoting much time to my career, than to my health. And this is it. So the result can be something similar to this at the end. Great. So please, you can keep track on of this later on. You don't have really to go through the exercise today, right now. The next point is that remember the word identity we started with at the beginning, right? So I'm going to ask you a question. Do you know Hamlet's soliloquy, to be or not to be? That's the question. You know it, right? So today we have another soliloquy, which is to filter or not to filter. That's the question. When it comes to presenting yourself to the world, do you think you should convey the authentic self as blunt as it can be, as authentic as it can be? Or do you think you should filter this self? Just like some people sometimes they post their photos with filters and so on and so forth. What do you think? To filter or not to filter? So let's check the chat. Yeah, depending on the situation, Plamen said. Thank you, Walid. What do you say to filter? Thank you. That's good. That's good. So let's see together to what extent you're filtering maybe, or you're conveying your authentic self to the world. Okay? So we're going to start to talk about the word personal branding. Is like everybody keeps on talking about branding themselves, the way you should present yourself to the world, the do's and don'ts, and the checklist goes on and on. And but what is it? What's personal branding? It is simply a narrative. It's simply the story you tell the world about yourself. Is how you convey yourself to the world. Filter do not filter depending on how you want this to be conveyed, but that's personal branding. It's unique. We call it the unique value proposition. It's the way you highlight your milestones, your best attributes, your experience. So it's like you make yourself really someone, not only really fake presenting this. It's not that way. It's not about faking this brand, but it's about molding and building this in the process. It's like trying to dust off maybe some skills that you still don't know they exist, and revamp other skills that already exist. So we can see in the chat something about authentic self. Okay, thank you for sharing. Yeah, so some people prefer to filter themselves almost in situations. So it's personal, it's you, and that what makes you unique. Great. So now, just like the wheel of life, for personal branding, there, what we call the strategic branding of this, the strategic maybe approach to this. Is like the whole world, do you think that there will be only you as a civil engineer doing only that profession in the world? There are zillions of people doing that. Do you think you're only the only teacher who's providing maybe a teacher training for teachers, and what you provide is really unique? No, ChatGPT can tell you that's not the case, for instance, if it's AI. And there will be other teachers really doing what you do. How can you make yourself stand out? We call it in a world really, really, overcrowded with information, with social media, with this overcrowded, world. How can you make yourself, your passion, your strength, your value very unique? So to define personal branding, I love this chart. Let's say. So what is personal branding? So do you remember that music show called The X Factor? Who remembers this and can tell us in the chat? If you remember the X Factor and what usually people go through in that show, it's usually they're selected according to what they have as unique and what we call it the X Factor. If you define your X Factor, you know very well in which area you're very unique in this. And you understand the Y factor. And here, why is like, why? What makes you unique as you are? Is like the set of skills you have. And if you eliminate the Z factor, just like when someone is sleepy, is like, if you go through this, you're ready to go, as you see down below. So the personal branding blueprint. So we're going to go through a quick exercise now together to check your personal brand and your name online. So as an exercise, um, so I think I skipped this a little bit, but as an exercise, can you please Google your name or maybe ask AI about you? Just go to Google, use your phone or your laptop as you like, type your name, and share with us what kind of results can you see about yourself. So I'll be waiting here for you and for your results, of course. You can type yourself. You can, kind of tune in the Google search to your profession, maybe. But let's see how visible you are online. Okay, so for Plummen, I think Plummen, you get hyperlinked to LinkedIn, to Google Scholar, to Learner, to feedback. Those are nice keywords. Thank you for sharing, Plummen. So is there someone else who tried it? You can use any one of those. You can ask Google, the most traditional way I used it. You can ask, I asked sometimes Perplexity because Perplexity gives you the exact links where you can really find, links to whatever you did, your milestones or whatever. So for plumbing as well, there's academia, ResearchGate as well. Okay, so that's a good exercise. So let's say if you have a look at these results now online, how would you grade this? Let's say on a scale, let me write this down. On a scale from 1 to 10, how would you grade this online presence of yourself? Is it something you are satisfied with, or is it something you would like to work on in today's webinar? Because at the end of today's webinar, you'll be having your own website shared and shareable with everybody. So, so let's say 6 to 7 satisfied on this. And, if it's another number that you would like to achieve, as if like from point A to point Z, where would you like to go today? From 6 to, yes. All right. Thank you for sharing. So let's see together now today to what extent this webinar, and I hope that it can be useful to you, especially after the website and after checking this, we're going to work through your Ikigai, let's say your life purpose, and finding your best attributes, your strength points that we're going to highlight later on a website. So that's why if you have, I asked in the webinar announcement, kindly, if you can have any photo that you consider that is representative of you, being in action or simply you. If people will have a look at your website and at that photo particularly, they will be inclined towards contacting you and maybe interacting with you. So please keep this in mind all through this webinar today, workshop. So personal branding, going back to the theoretical aspect a little bit, I'll try to kind of wrap up this because the most important part is not this part as much as it is with the hands-on part next. So a lot of people talk about personal branding, but Why is it important? As we said, sometimes to stand out. Is it only just to stand out in the market? Unique value proposition? It's also for adaptability and skill development. It's like, as I said, if you consider that one skill needs revamping, you can work on improving yourself through feedback, through training, professional development. A lot of opportunities can really help you to develop this and adapt yourself to the version of yourself you're seeking. And then sometimes a lot of people, they say your network is your net worth. Sometimes you can really have a shortage of money or whatever. It's like you don't have any financial support, but you have a great network. That one makes you really powerful. It's like your network is somehow your net worth. So personal branding enables you as well to build a network. It's like sometimes at events. So we'll see together this next later on. Next, so here, basically, if we talk about personal branding here, so aligning everything we talked about into towards creating a roadmap for growth. And here, a roadmap for growth, I'm going to later on align this with the IKIGAI Venn diagram, which I consider is limited yet really helpful in encapsulating what's IKIGAI in coaching. And here I'm talking about Ikigai not as a philosophy, but in coaching. So here, in order to cultivate this personal brand, so we talked about the unique value proposition. We talked about developing what we call the identity. We talked about it at the beginning of the webinar, and to build an online presence. For instance, through different ways, the website can be one of them. Also, content creation, social media, networking, and collaboration. Talking about filtering and not filtering oneself. So here, for personal branding, to create a consistent brand image to yourself, it's preferable to stay true to yourself. It's like you're not portraying an image of someone when people meet in the street later on. They're going to see, ah, that's not the same person. She doesn't look like an on photos. It's like she's a coach and she's using filters, for instance. So there can be something really, really impactful in people's lives. Stay true to yourself. That's it. That what makes you unique. And then people, when they see you as unique as you are, so you will find, your vibe attracts a tribe. You will get your people at that time, and you'll get an audience if you consider taking this to a business framework. Now, let's see how personal branding can work with AI. Okay, we're going to see the intersection and talking about that presence. Talking about this presence, we've seen it in a web search. Now, have you tried searching your profile on LinkedIn? If you're trying to do it, you will see the interaction, you will see the likes, the comments, we're usually tagged. So, for instance, if you're seeking a job, your employers can be checking you out the same way that you do it now on LinkedIn. So, we're going to see together how AI can really help you in kind of reinforcing this. So we talked about the online presence, and most of all, now we're getting to get more into details of what is the digital footprint. It's the traces you leave behind, everything. Sometimes if you just Googled yourself, you can see even your name in a tagged post of someone else's post. It does not have necessarily to be your own post. So careful, please, who you accept tags from. This is really important as well. So we did this exercise actually of searching oneself and talking about the social presence. For instance, if here you're a job seeker, you're applying for a job, or you're applying, let's say, for a visa, you're applying for any position. So do they ask you sometimes, do they request from you to share links to your social media? It's not like because they want to stalk you or so on and so forth, but they want to make sure about what we call your reputation. Your reputation goes on and on with you. The things you liked, the photos you've taken, people you engaged with, reflections you posted, comments you wrote. So a lot of people sometimes, comments on social media, they're being, more subjective in a sense. So it's like people, we need more kindness, let's say. So this, I'm sharing this without attachment, and it's like without the coach mindset. It's like we should be careful what to post, what to comment. We should be kind to ourselves and to others because everything is visible out there. So talking about techniques now for how you actively build this presence. Some people can build it with peers. For instance, like us here, we're a teacher association. We are collaborating together. We're working as volunteers. We're making sure to deliver free CPD to colleagues. So we're learning equally from each other. And this is great. I learned a lot from my colleagues in our SIG here. Also, another techniques is networking. And I'd ask you a question. How do you usually network? So in the chat, please. How do you usually network? Is it you attend online events, in-person events, or is it only attending events? How you network, please, if I may ask you. For instance, for me, I'm going to share with you later on how I do network. So it's not like being present. Sometimes a lot of people, you just, when you log in, you see them everywhere. It's like, when did you have time to do it? It's like, yes, they really do it. But Emina says mostly via LinkedIn. She does that work, networking. Thank you for sharing, Emina. Great. Thank you. So we can see another comment now in the chat. Face-to-face interaction. Yeah. Because a lot of people, they do say that the online presence, they prefer, let's say, the in-person presence to the virtual world. It's like, but still equally. For instance, some of the people that are friends here and present here with us today, we know each other only virtually, and we do bond as if we know each other in person. So it all depends on maybe something called intention, let's say. So here, Ahmed says online events on LinkedIn, networking with people at the mosque, local neighborhood. Thank you for sharing, Ahmed. So, most of all, it's like you network, you present yourself to the world through social content, social media content, through a website, through any means. Here, preferably, so is to stay professional, kind, as we said, most of all to each other and to others, to oneself and to others. So, so I'm going to fast forward a little bit so that I can give you enough time to build your website today. So the coaching journey, as we've seen it at the beginning of the webinar, was like a takeoff. Now we're into the transformation journey, and we're going to land later on with the website. Some people can see the transformation as such. It can be sometimes like a cocooning, as just like a butterfly, and then having your own wings and fly. So it's up to you to define coaching. But as an ICF coach accredited from an ICF coaching program, we do define coaching as per ICF as partnering with coaches, we call them clients, in a thought-provoking creative process that inspires them to maximize their personal and professional potential. So here we speak about not only identity, but we speak about a potential. The process of coaching often unlocks, that light bulbs unlocks previously untapped sources of imagination, productivity, and leadership. So, coaching here is transformational. It's amazing. We're going to see together to what extent it can be useful to. Sorry, please, can you mute your microphone so that we can avoid having an echo? I'm sorry, who joined? Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So, and talking about coaching as well, a lot of people confuse coaching with mentoring and training. It's like, Now, most of the people, they're doing mentoring, but they think they're doing coaching. Is like they're mentors, but they present themselves to the world as coaches, which is really different. Coaching is like a co-creative space. It's a collaborative process. Unlike mentoring and training, in which we have a transfer of skills, it's like I know things and I show you how to do them. In coaching, it's not, it doesn't happen that way. It's very suggestive. It's like it goes through thought-provoking questions. It gets you to tap into those unvisited areas of your persona. And it's far from being psychotherapy. A lot of people they confuse coaching with the coach, the therapist coach, when you have to sit down and people, you have to tell your story and the therapist is listening to you, which is really not coaching according to ICF standards. And here I'm abiding by ICF Code of Ethics. So here, different types of coaching. Today we're going to focus most of all on self-coaching. So you can see we have self-coaching, peer coaching, team coaching, and other types of coachings. But I tried to encapsulate this into, narrowed down to these three types. There are other types as well. But today we're most interested, since we're talking about personal branding, in how can you coach yourself towards achieving the best version of yourself you're talking about. And here are some examples, and I apologize for colleagues who are attending today the webinar as coaches, but still this can be aligned to your context. So here we're going to talk about goals. Since we're talking about goals, needless to talk about SMART goals. SMART goals for academic and professional achievement. For teachers, it can be sometimes improving classroom engagement. As simple as that. It's like my students, they never speak in class. I never get my students to really interact. They're not motivated. So in a coaching session, a SMART goal can simply go into improving your classroom engagement. Other times, for teachers, it can be through certifications. For instance, the CELTA, the Delta, TEFL, other certifications that give you really accreditation into the ELT world. For other teachers, is the work-life balance is like you overwork, you work too much, you burn out, and you would like to work through this as a SMART goal in a coaching session. So work-life balance can be something you can work on. If you're a teacher, educator, and also a coach, double hats, and you would like to coach your own students in class into developing their own action plan, their own study plan, that can be a goal. Also, it can be aligning competencies with career goals. It's like, why do we train or teach students to achieve or to gain certain competencies they won't need later on for work? Or maybe they get a degree and they don't know what to do about it later on when they graduate simply because it does not align with the labor market. So these are examples, and really here I'm not limited only to these examples. I'll let you, elaborate on this in the chat. Please feel free to type some examples you have as goals as teachers or students. For administrators, these are examples of some goal achievement for stakeholders as well. Most of all, it all includes creating an action plan. It's really hands-on. So I'll try to skip this a little bit. I can share the examples if you want as attachments later on after the webinar. So the integration of these SMART goals for education is like seeking what we call the excellence, the quality assurance. And here, as you can see, the SDGs, quality education goal for peace and justice and strong institutions for 16, and partnership to partner for these goals together, and also to partner with other institutions that embody these goals. So, since we talked about coaching, I'm curious to know your own definition of coaching, please, in the chat. So this is a word cloud, as I said, not to limit, but to help you a little bit kind of map what is coaching. So I define coaching according to ICF standards. So what about you, for instance? How do you perceive coaching? Please type it in the chat. Guidance. We're going to see if it's really guidance. Enhancing one's strengths. Empowerment. That's a nice word, Emina. What is coaching? Solution focused. Very good. It's goal oriented. Very good. Thank you for sharing. So here I'm going to go back to guidance. Never we do really take responsibility of someone else's life as coaches. It's the coachees, the client's responsibility really to evolve in this sense. We're here to support, but as a disclaimer, we're not here to guide anyone. Guidance comes inwards from the person himself because who knows the person better if it's not you? So here, so just to clarify, before we start the exercise later on about coaching, the coaching mindset and the coach mindset, since we talked about what is coaching. So the coach mindset, according to ICF, here it's about developing, maintaining a mindset, first of all. And it's a growth mindset. Curious, flexible, client oriented, and centered. Clients, they're responsible for their own choices, and no one else is except the clients. And it's engaging in an ongoing learning and development as a coach. So here, the development occurs and should be really facilitated for the client, the coachee. I will check the chat. I think I can see some few comments. It's partnership. Very good. Thank you for sharing this in the chat. So the difference between here, the teacher educator and the teacher coach in the focus, in the methodology, in the interaction style. For instance, in assessment, how can you go from just a transfer of skills and you know the famous word, the TTT and STT, teacher talking time and student talking time? How can you make that balance to make students talk more than you in class? It's like you speak less and they do the opposite. So here, these are some kind of suggestions to the focus. First of all, the first one is a training, as we said, is transfer skills, one directional, one way. The other way, it's a two-way dialogue. It's like you speak, you elaborate, I listen to you actively and respond to this, thought-provoking. It's like, as a coach, we should really go to the extent of asking you some questions that take you outside of the comfort zone. If not, client-oriented with the action plan. So to maximize your skills as much as possible, that's the most important thing. And of course, for every growth mindset organization, professionalism is key, collaboration, equity, also humanity should be there. So to encapsulate the ICF core coaching competencies, as you see them on the screen. So for every session as a coach, and here this is also for valid for you for self-coaching, is like having the right mindset to really take yourself from point A to point Z, to encourage yourself when you really in the morning you don't want to wake up and go through the same thing maybe you do over the day. That can be a good thing. So here, the presence, if it's self-coaching or maybe coaching, the presence is like you feel it. If it's a coachee relationship, that the presence and the space is given to the person. So allow yourself enough space for growth. And active listening is like sometimes we live in denial. This is if you're coaching yourself, self-coaching. Listen to your thoughts, listen to yourself. If your body says to you, please, I need some rest, take some rest. And active listening when it comes to the coach and the coachee, the client relationship is like we listen carefully to what you're saying in a safe, secure space for you. And we had in another webinar, I remember, Waleed, you were one of my coaches in that sense. So I told you, you're in a safe space and no one is going to listen to this. And I hope you enjoyed the session at that time. So it was
It was
like
amazing.
available. Yes, yes, Walid.
It was amazing. It was amazing.
Thank you. So, and I said, no one is going to listen to this except you and YouTube and everybody on YouTube.
Yes.
It was a teacher training, a demo coaching, and Walid was kind enough to be there as represented as a coachee. Thank you, Walid. So
My
now,
pleasure.
thank you. Talking about these competencies in AI, how can AI be included in all of this? Keywords of this we can see are ethics, human-centered. Is like you're not going to tell your problems to ChatGPT and ask from ChatGPT to really solve them for you. We have people doing this, but ChatGPT is not your therapist. Careful about those, please. So this was like the two frameworks for students and for teachers. And most of all, we're focusing on the aspects today. We're not going to focus on the other parts. We're going to test something together. And I'm going to drop in the chat. So you can scan the code and I'll drop the chat in the chat for you a link to an AI coach assistant. And I invite you to type your questions. Um, Maybe ask from this chatbot to act as your coach. Let's see if this can act really like a human being or not. Did you receive the link, please? Please let me know. Okay, so this chatbot is called My Coach. So I'm going to test it with you live now today. And we're going to start, and you can do this simultaneously as I'm doing it. Hello. So we never forget that we should say hi. Can you act as my coach today? Maybe. Let's see. All right. So I'm start to share my thoughts. I would like to improve my online presence and personal brand, let's say. What do you suggest? So everyone can really, with this, maybe in another webinar, you can create your own chatbot. But this one, let's see some of the results here together. Sorry about this. Okay, so the response was, that's a fantastic goal. Improving your online presence and personal brand can open up so many exciting opportunities. Here are some suggestions. And here the chatbot is suggesting a few things. So please feel free to check this chatbot, not only now, but afterwards. And I'm open to receiving feedback towards this. But the question here is, do you think a chatbot can play the role of a coach here? Can it really replace a person? So here I took some answers from the chatbot, and you can really explore them maybe later on yourself. Asking from the chatbot to act as my coach, and then maybe ask the chatbot to have a whole coaching session, and you can rate this and see if it's right or different. But for self-improvement, most of the time, it does give you the right results only if you train it well. Because this chatbot I created it myself, and I trained it with the right documents so that it acts in a particular way. So that's the thing about chatbots. It's like we should really use them with caution. Now, self-discovery through AI. Self-discovery through AI. I really conducted this in coaching sessions and in team building, also with my students in different opportunities. So your future self can be explored in different sense. Some of the time you can just simply write, the activity we do have in English in class, write a letter to your future self. You can simply do it right after the visualization exercise. Next, there's a website which is AI, sorry, AI generated. This one, AI uh, managed. You write a letter to your future self and you decide when would you like to receive it. Maybe in 6 months, in 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years from now. I do receive a letter every year on my birthday. I set it for that time to be received. You pick a date and you send it to yourself. So this is some of the way you can employ them for self-coaching. And actually it kind of helps you set the action plan maybe you want to achieve. So Sherry, the workshop is in 90 minutes. It's an hour and 30 minutes. We conveyed this in the caption, so please feel free if you can stay. I will be glad if you can stay because of the website creation. In the certificate, the feedback sheet will be delivered at the end so that you can receive your certificate of attendance. Thank you, Sherry. So now the future self can be explored through different things. It can be through art, through drawing. Here in some activities, you can really record a video of yourself and watch it later on. Here, I conducted an activity with students as well and created a photo of myself using AI here in class. For instance, these are photos from my students, how they perceive their career plans. Some of them, they would like to see themselves, on the beach, and others, in their office. So I'm going to just fast forward a little bit because we want to reach the point. Also, we can go through coaching through AI and VR. The website creation. Before that, I had a question first at the beginning of the webinar. It's like, what are the different means you use to set yourself, present yourself to the world? As far as I'm concerned, and here I'm sharing without attachment, I do network and I do you convey my online presence through my podcasts. Not only that, so I have what we call the Ikigai and Kaizen podcast, and I had several, sorry, just to fast forward a little bit, several guests for this podcast. So as you can see, these are some of the colleagues I hosted for the podcast. Tunisian context with Dr. Kais, for instance, to universal, to international context like Dr. Liz England, and also my colleagues, Mr. Abdurrahim, also from Kuwait. So a lot of people here present for this podcast. Also, we have Walid, we have Dr. Christine Koum, we had Beatrix. So a lot of colleagues here in the TESOL field, they were part of this podcast. For me, it was a networking opportunity more than just a presence. I got to know many friends around the world, and it set me, an online presence for this. So now, before going to the website, if you have a sheet of paper next to you, could you please draw what we call the Ikigai Venn diagram? If you have a piece of paper, or simply if you're using a Word document on a computer, it consists of drawing 4 circles with the intersection and Ikigai in the middle. And in the green part, try to think about the things you love and write that down in that section. In the pink part, try to write down, what do you think the word needs from you? What's your contribution to the world? The orange part, write down, please, what can you be paid for it? It's like the things you consider you can charge people for that money for doing a service. I'm sorry. The yellow part, what are you good at? So you can do this on a piece of paper or maybe in the chat if you want, as you like. And if you're ready, you know what you love, you know what you're good at, what you can be paid for, and you know what the world needs from you, we're going to start building your website. Okay? So here the online presence goes from the podcast to conferences to publishing papers. So these are examples simply, I'm sharing them without attachment on how can someone set a visibility online. So here, please log into Gamma app. The website is called Gamma app. I know, I assume that many of you maybe you know Gamma. If you don't know it, so we're going to use Gamma today for creating your website. And I can share with you a prompt. Here, I will share it in the chat if you want. Just a second. You can use the same prompt or you can use your own prompt. So just a second, I will type in the chat here. So I'll share my screen and show you exactly after you log into Gamma. This is the prompt. Okay, great. After you sign up, if you don't have an account already on Gamma, you can, sorry, I will resume sharing my screen. So you sign up to Gamma, and this is after you sign up, this is what you will see. Create with AI. You can create, copy, paste, and text. You can ask the chatbot, the website to generate simply for you something, or you can upload a document like your CV, I don't know, like a letter, you want to use it, or you remix something you already used before. Okay? So after doing this, I'll show you a little bit my Gamma website so that you know maybe the final results. And as I said, I'm sharing this without attachment. I hope my computer will collaborate today. Just a second. I want to share it full screen. Meanwhile, did you manage to log into Gamma? Meanwhile, waiting for Gamma to collaborate here. Did you manage to have access to Gamma app? Please type it in the chat. Okay, so the website will look like this. I'm just waiting for Gamma to display it properly. Just got it, Sherry. Yes, I can see some comments in the chat. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Do you have the photo that represents you the best? Do you have it at hand? Or maybe many photos. It doesn't have to be only one photo. I'm sorry about my computers. Okay, here is my website. Okay, I think it's working now. And by the way, this is a free feature on Gamma. You can use it. You can upgrade maybe if you want to remove Made with Gamma. But if this version of this works well, I've been using this for 2 years now, almost 2 years. And it's, yes, Jay, do you have a question, please? Yes, I can see you raising your hand.
Yes, I logged into Gamma and I clicked create website and now I don't know where to go. So I might have missed something.
Just a second. Thank you for letting me know. I'll get back. We'll do it together. All right. So I was just sharing the final results. So after this, so please, are you following now? Can you see my screen, Create with AI?
Yes.
All right. So I'll click on generate, the one in the middle, because we want the website that can be fully generated with AI. But we'll fine tune the content according to your information, your photo, your job position, your milestones. I'm sorry. Okay, that's my internet connection. All right. When you're here, did you reach this level? Please, could you please let me know if we're on the same page? What would you like to generate? presentation, web page, document, or social media. Are we here together? Let's check the chat. Yes or no?
I think yes.
Yes, thank you. So here, you know the prompt that I gave you minutes ago in the chat? You can use that same prompt. You can replace it here. You write your role. What's your role? Maybe teacher, maybe coach. You go here between brackets, we have your key achievements. You write down what are your key achievements, for example, certification in teacher training. So I'll leave you really, you tune up this according to your own profile, according to what you consider can be your strength, your values, your identity. After you finish completing this, you click Generate Outline, and it gives you, just like a PowerPoint, it gives you the slides related to this. And after this will be, the web page displaying cards. We call them the cards. So here, welcome to, it gives you the name's website, your name. I'm sorry for my internet connection. It seems to be a little bit slow today. Okay. So in the meantime, we're waiting for the website that we're trying to create live today. Can you please update me on the results on your websites? Here is it. Did you manage to find the right tab? Okay, so here it gives you the outline. Once you have this outline, you scroll a little bit down and you choose, do you want this website to be minimal, to be concise, to be detailed, to be extensive? So I'm going to choose the first one to avoid having my computer really lag a little bit. And once you click on generate, it will take you to the web page and see the magic happens here. And you'll be seeing your website right at hand being created. You can choose whether you want this website to include AI photos, or I'll show you later on how you change these photos to your real photos, like I did with mine. So there are comments in the chat. Looks superb. Thank you for sharing. The prompt here is it. Nasreen, it's in the chat. Please replace what's in brackets, what's between brackets into your profession. For instance, your key achievements, your experience. You replace it with whatever you want. So here, as I said, the website generates AI photos that you can change later on into your authentic photos. The text itself, you can tune in this as much as you want. So here, let's give it time to really process through this. And I'm curious to know, at which level are you now? Can you please share with us in the chat? Did you manage to have the same result we see it on the screen? And this will serve, let's say, as a skeleton to your website. It's like you're not going to take it as it is because AI does not know much about you, but it will give you, let's say, a framework you can later on adjust. I did it for my podcast. I did it for my personal website. I'm doing it for the newsletter. So it can be useful to many things, a Gamma site, a blog. Okay, just a second, please. Let me share the link again of Gamma here. Here is it. And I pasted it right now in the chat again for you, Mr. Ahmed. Sorry, Mr. Salman. Okay. So here it will ask you how satisfied are you? So let's see here. I'm gonna skip this or maybe hide it to check the website first. So if we compare, let's say the version of this, it's like the kind of advanced version of this website. So I added my photos, the milestones, what I'm doing in education, what I'm doing in coaching as a public speaker, my podcast, a speaker being on radio, the ICF coaching circles, me being present for career orientation at Wajahni, shooting videos, training that I took. So it's up to you to fine tune this, as I said, with your content, with your identity. We talked about you can include the certifications you received. The screen is frozen. I think I'm not. Okay. The Tunisia Coaching Conference, as we see it here. I've been a guest to the coffee guest for Express Publishing. I've been a speaker at webinars for Macmillan as well for the podcast with my friend Nathan. I've been a speaker at conferences. So a lot of things that you can include, your milestones, let's say. So whoever is going to check this will know maybe the things that they can connect with you with. So if you're good at that, how you showcase this to the world. So as I said, I'm curious to know how far did you go with this website, your website creation? Let's see. Okay, well, we're about to finish almost. So did you try it out? I'm curious to know. Please type yes if you tried it out, Gamma, today. It's really interesting if you tried it. And of course, not only tried the Gamma website, but also as a SIG, we're interested in seeing your website. So please feel free to share with us, maybe after today's session, because we're almost finished. We still have a few minutes left for questions. Please share your website links in the WhatsApp group later on. Share with us your identity. And it's a good opportunity for us to network. So that's it for today. Thank you for your attention. Here is my list of references and my contact information if you want to reach out to me by email or to the SIG at the membership aidsig@gmail.com. We welcome your feedback, your questions. And the feedback survey will be dropped in a while in the chat so that you can receive your certificate of attendance. And thank you so much. I look forward to receiving your questions, maybe your suggestions in the chat if you want. Thank you. Over to you, Walid. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks very much for your presentation, Yusra. It was very insightful and we've learned a lot. I actually created my own websites. It will be ready soon and I'll share it with you just for some feedback. So thanks everyone for being part of today's session. And I have just posted the link to your feedback. And once you fill out the form, you will receive a certificate immediately to the email that you will provide. Thank you very much, Yusra, for the session. It was a very interesting session and a nice, relaxing journey as we used to have with you. I hope you still remember going back now. You remember at the beginning of the session, we're on a plane now. We should be going back, landing.
We're landing.
Be ready to get out of the airport.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thanks everybody for your participation. You made the session really interesting by answering the questions that came from the presenter. Thank you very much, Yusra, for your very interesting presentation and the ideas that you provided and inspired us. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you very much.
And looking forward to see you all again, inshallah.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you so much. And see you next time, everybody.